Nudity and norms. Challenging cultural conditioning. Around women's bodies. Women's clothing or lack of should not determine their worth. The way we dress is a personal choice and should not be used to judge our character, intelligence, or value as human beings. Unfortunately, society has been conditioned to view women's clothing as a reflection of their worth. This is a harmful and unfair standard that needs to change. Nudity, or revealing clothing, is seen as sexualized and is a perspective that Western society has labeled as inappropriate. We have been raised through generational standards as children to hide our bodies or to be shamed or harassed if we reveal too much. The purpose of this post is to make you think about how we are culturally conditioned from childhood to see things a certain way. Indigenous people have shown us that nudity is not inherently sexual. They wear minimal clothing, are topless, and sometimes go about their lives completely naked. They do not perceive the naked body as sexual just by looking at the body parts, and instead receive respect and are not shamed or assaulted for what they do or do not wear. In contrast, Western society has labeled nudity and revealing clothing as inappropriate and sexualized. We have been raised through generational standards as children to hide our bodies or to be shamed or harassed if we reveal too much. In societies where nakedness is taboo or forbidden, the rate of sexual assault skyrockets. Women's nudity or revealing clothing makes men lose control of their urges, and then women are blamed for how they were dressed. She was asking for it. Now, this is not to say that all men lose control of their urges due to scantily dressed women, but the rate of this occurrence is higher in men than it is for women. Could this be due to society being used to viewing men with their shirts off? Or would women be losing control of their urges if they were not used to seeing half-dressed men? In countries where nudity or scant clothing is the norm, sexual assault is not as frequent. Women can pass by barely dressed, and men even don't look because they are used to it, and it perceived as normal and not dirty, provocative, sexual, or tempting like in more conservative cultures. According to a study by the University of South Florida, societies that are more accepting of nudity and have fewer restrictions on it tend to have lower rates of sexual assault. This is because in such societies, nudity is not seen as taboo or forbidden, and people are used to seeing bare body parts. As a result, they do not perceive nudity as sexual or provocative and are less likely to sexualize it. On the other hand, in societies where nudity is taboo or forbidden, people are not used to seeing bare body parts. As a result, when they do see them, they may perceive them as sexual or provocative and are more likely to sexualize them. This can lead to a higher incidence of sexual assault. When people are exposed to nudity frequently, they may become desensitized to it. This is because the brain is wired to respond to novel stimuli, and over time, repeated exposure to the same stimuli can lead to habituation. In the case of nudity, the initial shock or excitement that one might feel upon seeing a naked body can diminish with repeated exposure, leading to a decreased sexual response. This phenomenon is known as desensitization. However, it's important to note that desensitization is not the same as a loss of interest in sex or sexual attraction. Rather, it's a natural response to repeated exposure to the same stimuli. It's also worth noting that cultural and social factors play a significant role in shaping our attitudes towards nudity and sexuality, and that these attitudes can vary widely across different societies and historical periods. It's important to note that there are many factors that contribute to sexual assault, and that nudity is just one of them. However, it's clear that societies that are more accepting of nudity tend to have lower rates of sexual assault. By promoting a culture of body positivity and acceptance, we can help reduce the incidence of sexual assault and create a safer and more inclusive world for everyone. Many share the opinion that women should be respected however they choose to be dressed. But this goes farther than what a woman wears. The nipple, for instance. We all have them, yet women feel ashamed if theirs are on display, so wearing a padded bra has become the cultural norm to hide the nipple. But men's nipples, they react to temperatures and stimulation just as a woman's do. But why are their nipples not hidden like a woman's? In this fast-paced, materialistic, and negative world we live in, wouldn't it be better to show respect to as many people as we can so that we can change this world for the positive? Focus on the personality and values of a person, rather than their bodies, clothing, or lack thereof. Status, Wealth, or Material Items by Lena Kravitz and Sarah Schufo. Knowledge is power.